lot of people have been reaching out, and I really appreciate that. But we got to dive into Bitcoin Cash, guys, because a lot of people, I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened with this particular coin. And we need to dive into it to find exactly where we think the price is going to go, so people on the channel can know what I think about the price currently. So, guys, the price is, it's kind of in this same level it's been in for the last couple years at about 550 US dollars. But we look at the year, it's been pretty interesting. We did dip down under $250, I think, briefly in April, right? So, if you guys want to look at the chart, back in April 2025 was an all-time low, which is funny in a sense because a year prior, if you go back, we hit an all-time high in terms of relative highs. Obviously, not an all-time high. That would be upwards to 4,000 US dollars, by the way. But we did go up to about $678 the year prior. So we've had kind of a kind of wonky year for Bitcoin Cash in terms of dollar amounts. But if you look at the flip side of the chart, Bitcoin Cash is actually rose against BTC Bitcoin, right? So we did the Bitcoin video, now we're doing the Bitcoin Cash video. We're seeing how much of an audience there actually is out there for this kind of stuff. Firstly, and secondly, if you're just hitting the channel, we are extremely bullish on Bitcoin Cash, guys, and have been for a while. Why am I talking like this? Well, when you start talking like this, people start to think you're interesting. So for the last year on Bitcoin Cash, we've seen it go up all the way from $250 upwards to 160, almost 100, almost touching $700, which doesn't really excite too many people in the Bitcoin Cash community, since most of the people are anticipating higher highs. Most people in the Bitcoin Cash community, guys, are not looking. People are still getting into Bitcoin Cash at a fairly good price at $544, soon to be $2,000 on the charts here. We're looking at the chart really, if you go back and, even the year prior, right? Even the year prior where we saw the 2023 jump into Bitcoin Cash, which was, believe it or not, 2.5 years ago at this point. We did see that rally come forth in the March-April month of that next year. All right. And then we basically, towards the end of the year, rallied up to not really too exciting highs simply because those highs had already been achieved the year prior in a bear market, and then a bigger jump in the bear market with BSV, where we saw a pretty seismic jump from, is roughly 100 to 200% up, 300% up in some cases, depending on, I think 200% up, but anywho, it's still a pretty good jump here. So obviously for that coin, people have been prying me open. People have been, trying to harvest my organs because they want to know what I think about Bitcoin Cash. And all I can say, guys, is the price is extremely undervalued at $543, and obviously a much larger platform to run, obviously, right? I mean, if you think about how many coin holders are now in the Bitcoin Cash community, I mean, it's truly impressive that it's still sitting on a top 10 coin, where I like to think, guys, I like to think in this crypto world, there are some coins that are sitting on the top 10, Bitcoin Cash included. And it might not be on the exact top 10, guys. If you're going, no, it's not. No, it's on 13 or 14. Yes, the coin has been up and down, obviously, like most. But we're going to give you a rundown because I did see it on, it's broken the top 10 a couple times. Okay, it's at 12. But it's still a $10 billion market cap, guys, with a good amount of volume. And, a lot of different things that could potentially lead it to a $100 billion market cap, which would be a 9x from here. So, with being at 5,000, we would be sitting, kind of in a comfortable zone for this particular coin. Obviously, that zone could become, unbounded to much higher levels, depending on, various market dynamics, guys, that we can't discuss in detail on here. But we can only tell you that they do exist. in that upper bound of about, I would say 100 billion. Once Bitcoin Cash sits up there with like passing Solana, becoming like the fifth or sixth largest crypto, it might be surprising that this particular coin could even outshine market caps as high as 200 billion, which would put it above Tether, and it'd be basically top three coin. And this kind of breaks down to a lot more things that are more on the back end side of stuff, guys. Obviously, I don't have a crystal ball to sit here and tell you when that date could happen. But at 100 billion, that would already put us there, basically, right? So a 9x would be what it would take to move Bitcoin Cash, obviously, using the tokenomics formula, to around a little over 100 billion, which, like I said, would pass Solana market cap. We'd be under BNB. We'd be a top 5 coin. And once a coin reaches that amount of gain, right? Because you start to see it and you start to be like, oh, wow, well, this coin has now came from 10 billion market cap upwards to the top 4 or 5 coins. Then you start seeing kind of a similar thing happen in some of the other coins, and we're going to talk about some of those on the next video. But Bitcoin Cash really at 100 billion to the Bitcoin Cash community doesn't seem. I don't want to ever come at it from the point of it seems like it would be expected, but at the same time, at least people in the Bitcoin Cash community are. That price would be more kind of in line with the development of it. All right, guys, we'll catch you guys in the next one, where we got coin picks coming out to talk about the price, kind of the trajectories over the last few years as we, approach the end of the year here. All right, talk to you soon.